Alright, welcome everybody. This is the Jeddah crash course. Nobody really joined, but that's okay. That's why I'm recording it. I'm re-recording it because after I rewatched the original one I did, I just decided that it wasn't sufficient enough. Um, I skipped over a lot of things that I meant to talk about, so why not redo? Because it's in a little recording in the first place. Um, But yeah, obviously I'm gonna reiterate, drink water. This track I have had recordings of myself in league races where I'm just hyperventilating the entire time, not knowing. So drink your water and try to focus on your breathing. Honestly, because this track, out of more than any other track, you're so tense because when you're really on the limit, you're right next to a wall the whole track. Um, so very quickly, I want to do a little track walk. A little thing that people don't know is on this exit, you want to actually go wide when you're going to start a hot lap of any kind on this track, obviously in a race, but in a quali or a time trial. If you go out kind of towards the green and turn in late, you get your foot on the power a lot easier, and you're going to give yourself a better exit. Um, so that helps. And then you're going to go close to the wall here. And I typically recommend downshifting on the third. And then really important, sorry, I forgot to change my brake bias, but a really important nuance. Um, sorry, I didn't mean to reset. I meant to flashback. Really important nuance is eating as much of the curb as you possibly can for turn one. So I'm going to show you. You want to be on the absolute limit there, so figure out the limit on how much you can cut it and how much you can't. It's super important. It'll help your rotation into the right-hander. It'll help you, set up the next turn. So I'll do 54 brake bias for this turn. Eat this curb. Boom. That's still legal. Didn't invalidate. And here I'll downshift up to third. And once my foot's on the power again, I go up to third to help my traction. So yeah, on that note, I'm gonna instant replay again, and I'm gonna do a hot lap while speaking through the brake biases and differential that I changed throughout the lap. In a race sense, I'd recommend 56 brake bias, and because you don't want to change it in the race because this track is hard medium strategy. Your medium is your fastest race tire. After I think about 4 laps on a soft, they're already at 25%. So trust me, like of all the other tracks we've done so far, the softs are extremely not worth it here. It's the highest tire degradation circuit in the game, even though in real life the tire degradation is not that bad. Um, so so that's that. So yeah, I'm gonna do a hot lap and walk it through as much as I can because it is hard to talk when I do things like this. But for those of you that struggle with trail braking or are just getting new to no traction control or whatever, please pay attention to the way I'm braking, the way I'm accelerating, because I'm gonna try to be on the limit as much as I possibly can. And obviously my MFD is gonna be open, so I'm gonna be saying how I change my brake bias, and I'll explain why I do it after, but just pay attention to where I'm doing it. And I challenge you guys that can on the wheel, because I know on the controller it doesn't really apply to you because it's really hard to change. But on the wheel, I do challenge you guys to do it, and it'll gain you so much time because you can carry that much more speed through any given corner. All right, so here we go. So again, I'm going to go wide here on the exit. My brake bias is already at 54, diff is at 50. Brake normally, but just go head on. Turn in. Powers down, really nice and easy. Yeah, I'll explain that line he was using there later. So I'm going to follow the racing line here. Brake down to third. Eat the curb. Go down to second, and then back up to third. Sorry, lagged. Here I'm going to go down to 53 brake bias. Down to fifth here. Maximize the track here. You don't need to lift yet. Still don't need to lift. Lift here. Back on the power. Skateboard a little bit. But here is where you keep it on 53 brake bias. You go up to 55 differential, or you can do it at 50. It doesn't really matter that much. It's just a matter of preference for this corner, I guess. And right here, we're going to go back down to 50 brake diff and 50 brake bias. Because it's a super quick braking corner that you could actually do it, and it'll allow you to carry so much more speed. Keep it here for this next fast left-hander. You want to be tight to the wall all the way through, all the way through. You're not going to get track limit, so you want to be tight to the wall. Down to 6. Back on the power fast. Fucked that up, but it's okay. And here, while you're in the long back straight, just don't forget, back up to 54 brake bias. Here you're hugging the wall if you can. There might be cars, but brake down to 3rd. And you want to go wide and exit. It'll help your traction. And here you want to hug. You want to start drifting towards the left, and really cut this corner as much as you can without invalidating, because it'll just minimize the track distance. And even if it's gaining you a couple hundredths a second, sometimes that's just how much you need that extra hundredths to make it a Q2 or Q3, or just to out-qualify someone. Sometimes it's just you need that extra hundredth. But yeah, the next point I want to talk is racing on this track. Hopefully this week for you guys, there's gonna be a lot of safety cars on this track no matter what, unfortunately, because everyone's at different spots, and even the fast guys, they make mistakes, and it's in the wall because that's just the nature of this track. But out of turn 2 here, before turn 3, I beg you guys, please be already in a uniform straight line already, because there's no point in going side by side here. It's near impossible. People can do it, but it's almost by luck. So be in a single file line through here. This entire chicane S section, just be no point in being side by side. It's too narrow. If you go side by side, you're just gonna force someone off the track and ruin their race, or you're gonna ruin your race. Another point I wanted to cover real quick was the if you Tony Hawk it. So there's obviously 2 spots you could Tony Hawk here. Let me get back. Okay. That was not how I want to do it, but say you're here, it's low grip at the start of your race, and you just Tony Hawk it. It happens. It happens to the best of us, all right? And you're going to go head on, and then now you start braking. Okay, and a lot of you go all the way out here. And if you're going to don't rejoin the track right here on the racing line, you're only going to ruin your race and somebody else's, okay? So if you have to wait to rejoin the track, please rejoin safely. Or if anything, just you have to kind of go out slow here and try to rejoin, but people are going to be going full race speed through this, and it's the race line's touching that inner wall right there. So I'd recommend, since resetting the track is allowed in this league, just reset the track. Might lose some positions at first or whatever, but I mean, essentially this race, you want your car to last. You don't want to crash it. That's just the biggest point. You know, if you can survive this race, it's an accomplishment in itself. The 2 main overtaking zones are this first hairpin. This first hairpin, you could send it in the inside of someone. You know, obviously be side by side going into it. Don't do a long lunge because it's a fast corner. It's just not going to work. Here, do not go side by side. Again, it's super tight corner. This is the first DRS zone, or I guess technically second, but this is the first one you're going to have DRS, and I still would recommend, honestly, staying behind that person, because it's short enough. Sometimes you'll just be side by side into the corner, and there's no point. So I recommend, just if you have to lift a little bit, go into the corner, keep DRS, because you get it right here, and this straight is so much more longer. If you could just be on the tail of someone out of that exit of the corner, you're going to pass them here anyways before you get to the corner, and it should be an easy overtake. If not, you got one more DRS zone right here, so it's pretty easy. Just play smart. That corner, that final corner is a overtaking corner. Fairly simple. Unfortunately, on this track, there's only really 3 good overtaking corners. It's the final corner, turn 1, and the first hairpin. I don't know what turn. I think that's like turn 15 or something. But yeah, just play it smart. It's a 25 lap race. You have time. I promise you. You don't need to force the move. Lap 1. You really don't. Just survive. The undercut is super powerful here. Obviously, there's gonna be a lot of safety cars, so dependent on your tire wear, you're gonna want to just box under safety cars essentially, because you're not gonna be able to. I guarantee there's no one's gonna last an entire pit window without a safety car coming out, unfortunately. that, again, I think I said mediums is the race tire. Don't use your mediums for quali. I'd recommend starting on hards, get out the way. Then go medium to the end of the race. But do your due diligence on the hards. Softs will be gone in a race sense if you save any within 4 laps, so it's almost not worth it unless it's a super late safety car. Then it's worth it. Because of the amount of safety cars I know that are going to come out. I know a lot of you don't touch your fuel, whatever, because this track is a fuel drinker. But you can get away with underfueling your car by a lap, or even more if you really, really wanted to be in the race, and just make sure every time it's a safety car, put it on under lean, because you gain back fuel that much quicker. And I recommend this only a lap under, so put it to 24 laps of fuel, because on the start, there's a huge difference, because I think normally it's gonna put you on 26.5 laps of fuel off the bat, and if you down that to 24 laps, the car feels so much lighter. It feels like you have quote unquote so much more grip on the hard tires, because the hard tires really have no grip around here. It makes everything a lot easier for you. So if you feel that you're comfortable with that and you get used to it, by all means do it. Again, I recommend doing either lobbies of 50% or just doing Grand Prix mode with AI 50%. And obviously, you don't need to be able to complete the whole 25 laps or whatever, but get used to how the hards and the mediums feel with race fuel in it, because I'm telling you, qualifying and time trial is yin and yang to what the actual race is going to feel like. It feels the race feels so terrible. And when you have cars all around you, it's even scarier. You got added pressure and this and that. It's a lot easier to make a mistake when you're in the hards and it's the beginning of the race. It's so much easier. So just pay attention to that. Don't be an idiot. Yeah, hopefully you guys have fun. It's a fun but really challenging track, and if you can progress and get somewhere faster and you're happy with that, then feel accomplished in that. And if you can finish the race, feel accomplished in that too. Because I know that a lot of people are going to crash out, and hopefully it's just because they made their own mistake. Hopefully it's not because someone tried setting it too wide in the corner and you can't, right? So that's all. People were in the Discord, but I did re-record it, like I said. If you guys have any questions, feel free to DM me, Chino, or DM Om. More than likely, or we'll help you. No problem. Hopefully this helped. And that's all I gotta say, really.